Live? Check 1, 2. What's up? I think I'm live. What's up, Steve Franklin? Mark Cote? Juan Blanco? Frank C? Yeah, the mic's breaking up. Is it really? Check, check. Check 1, 2. A little better. Not breaking up as much. Check 1, 2. You. Just one of these days I'll get the audio right. On the meter, well, I guess it's about the same. Yeah, I was inspired by Tone King. I saw his Kramer last night, and I was like, that gives me an idea. That's inspiring. Something to play tonight. That's the hardest part, picking out the guitar. You know? Oh, Jesus Christ. Man down! Christ. Luckily, I have... Actually, I have more right there, too. I'm keeping my eye on those. Hold on. That's coffee and paper towel. There we go. What's up, Cowtown Customs? Guitar and vocals are sounding great. Good. Sounds good now? Okay, good. 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 85? No, these didn't come out till like... Oh, no, dude, you're way off. That's more like 3 or 4 years later. These came out in like 88, 89. This is at the very end. They still look like Strats in 85. And then they had a transition in 86 to the pointy beak headstock. And then in 87, they switched the body from the round Strat type to the flat Strat type. And I think they saw that they probably knew what Ibanez was going to come out with. Wanted to go with a flatter, harder edge, not so round. It's just funny how that works. Maxwell House. Never heard of it. That's Starbucks. Extra double French roast with triple oils added. Bean so black that light can't escape its surface. There we go. What's up, Rock Nutter? BC Rich, Ben Coombs, Mike Collins, Walter Sheens. No, you rock. I'll watch you what. Susie Cherry, what's up? John Doe. Yeah, well, I worked at a music store, BC Rich, from 1985 to 1995, so that's like ground zero for Kramer's. Ground zero. Is my camera pointing higher? Is it? It might have. You know, this it's on top of a monitor, and the monitor will get tilted a little bit. Should I tilt it down a little bit? That better? Cut off the top of my head a little bit. Is that better? Is it, though? Is it though? And now I feel like my head's chopped off. That's a little better. Yeah, the only thing that Sabbath song needed, someone pointed out in the comments, it needed more dive bombs. And I agreed. It's like, you know what? He's right about the dive bombs, about everything. There you go. Oh, yeah. That's your all copper wiring right there. That's actually a different patch than I normally use. That is, what's this one called? It is called Buttery Lead. It's like wicked butter. It's butter. Yeah, it's kind of an off-white, really. You can see it. Look at this white versus... That's white. You see? Do you see? This is off-white. So's the Strat. The Strat has a white pickguard, but the actual body you can see is more like an ivory, just like this is. All right? If you compare them next to each other, this versus that. That one. You can see the difference. You have tuning with a Floyd down on signs, you're still a pain. It was never really a pain. I don't know. I guess I got I got a Floyd Rose when I was 18, like 1984, and once you get it at like that age, it's just like any other trim, really. In fact, I remember taking it apart because I thought it was looking a little rusty. Taking the whole thing apart, just marking everything and then putting everything back together again. And a friend of mine was like, I could never do that. I'm like, it's literally a bag of bolts. It's like there's really nothing to it. But you don't want to get the only thing you got to remember is where your intonation settings were. That's what you got to remember. And how you do that is you look at where it's bolted on the bottom plate. You say, okay, like third hole, second hole, third hole, second hole, first hole, right? And you know where they're, and then you can go from there. When you're starting in the wrong, bolt hole to hold the let me go to this cam. Right? See that bolt hole right there, right there in the front. There's actually 3 holes underneath. You can see because these are in the front hole, and this one here is in the second hole. And that, I think, is still in the second. There could even be either one in the front or one behind it. And it's so that you can set the intonation. That's the biggest worry. You'll never get it intonated again. But other than that, it's really not that complicated. And the other thing is once they're in tune and they're sort of set up. There's no fiddling with it. There really isn't. The only thing I would tell people, and I should do a dedicated video on this, is that the Ibanez posts on the edge are locking. These aren't locking. So, when you have a locking post, you can always screw it up and out of the body, but you'll have a limit as to how you can screw it down because it'll be locked. And so, there have been many people to break off because they're like, I didn't even know there was a lock in there. Oh, there's a lock in there. It's actually pretty smart too, very crafty. But it's basically a bolt within a bolt, and it's effective. But people are like, geez, I can raise it, but I can't lower it. I'm like, oh, really? Did you take the lock off of it? They're like, what? What's up, Zach? Terry? Blackjack? Mr. BHB Jr.? So let's we can talk a little bit about this week's stuff. The reason why I was talking about concerts in 2021 is because my wife was booked to see a concert this year, and they moved the concert to next year. I want to say it's in August. And I just started thinking, it was like, I think you could get a refund if you wanted, but she had already paid for this like 10 months prior to the concert because, everybody sells their tickets apparently, 10 to 11 months prior to the concert now, right? Not quite a year, but as close to a year ahead of the concert as they can get. So it's less than a year, but not by much. And so she bought these tickets to go to, it was, I don't know, it's like Weezer and Green Day. It's a whole bunch of bands together. I'm not going. She's going with some friends. But they, of course, they postponed it. And they postponed it to I want to say it's August 2021. And I'm like, what's the probability that that's happening? And I got to think it's pretty low. And, until there's like a widespread vaccine, I can't see August. I think most of the health professionals are looking at third quarter 2021 as to the availability, the widespread availability. You remember, once you find one, you've got to manufacture it. That's another big, just stalling period where you're waiting for it to be made and, and distributed. If they're talking third quarter 2021, and it could be sooner, but let's assume that that's, based on the evidence we've seen so far. There's no way it's happening that in August. It's going to be delayed like another friggin' year. It's really 2022. It's got to be. I can't see it happening. Could it happen? Sure. Will it happen? I have my doubts. Just because we know that when we see people go to events that have a lot of people crammed together, there just does seem to be an increase. You can look at a bunch of schools that got back together again and they had a little spike. So we'll see. Could it happen? Sure. I'm just saying, statistically speaking, probability-wise, I'm saying it's at least a standard deviation out. That's all I'm saying. Oh. What's up, Cushman? What's up, Rob? One question I have is an Indonesian Kramer Beretta special, and I want to upgrade it to a Floyd Rose, an American original Kramer neck, but sadly it didn't work out. Should I trade it in for a better Kramer? Yeah, you could. It's hard to mix parts with the American Kramers and I'm sure they're not made to the same spec, right? So, yeah, that could be a little tricky. Plus, you got the whole metric to standard thing, going on. Yeah, it's got a little bit of a arch top. I'd call that an arch top. And then it's got the old neck through on the back. So yeah, I'm just trying to think of the last concert I went to, but I guess it was the end of February. I went to go see, it was on Leap Year Day. It was on February 29th. I went and saw my buddy there with Jeff Tate. And that was it. I mean, since then, that was the last day of February. Everything pretty much has been canceled. They just said that, what's his name has it? Cam Newton. So, It's still out there. Someone was saying, you think there's a big difference between the Floyds made in Germany and other Floyds? Well, there's no difference between the Floyd made in Germany and the Floyd 1000 made in Korea. They are identical in every way except longitude and latitude. But other than that, in fact, some would even argue the machinery in Korea is probably a little newer. But metallurgically, they are identical. The problem is you can't get the Floyd Rose 1000 unless you get it from a guitar that's been ripped apart because they don't sell it separately at retail. It's an OEM product only. So you'd have to get one from like Stratosphere or something like that. One of the, what do I want to call them? Kind of like the parters, right? They part guitars out. It's like a chop shop for guitars. What happens if you accidentally damage it? How do you replace the neck or fix the neck? You don't. On this, you wouldn't. You'd buy another guitar. They're not meant to last forever. And if you snap the head off, then I'd get another guitar, personally. Someone could try and stitch it together for whatever reason, but these aren't particularly valuable. You know, it's a Korean-made guitar. If I snap the headstock off, I would most likely strip all the parts out of it and throw the rest of it in the bin. That's pretty much it. You know, the problem with Gibson Les Pauls is no one wants to do it. They're like, I don't want to throw it out. What's funny is when, like, say you have a guitar that is at a that's at a store, and something happens to it, right, or it's damaged in some way. You know, and Gibson will give you, they say, like, there's a problem with the guitar. Gibson's not taking that guitar back and fixing it. That's guitars under the bridge already. That guitar is gone. Gibson will tell them, we'll give you a charge back, but you have to prove to us that you didn't sell the guitar. You didn't strip it. You didn't part it out. And so then some employee has the fun task of taking the guitar out back and beating the living shit out of it until it's in splinters, snapping every possible thing and rendering it completely worthless. That way they can get the charge back from Gibson, and Gibson will say, okay, yeah, all right, yeah, that's just one that didn't make it through, and we'll just eat the cost of that, and we'll send you another guitar. But what you can't do is say, this guitar is broken, give us a free guitar, and then you fix that guitar and throw it up on the shelf. No, that's a big no. So people are like, why are we finding guitars in dumpsters that are all, smashed and beat up? There's your answer. Chargebacks. Why did they take a bunch of guitars and roll over them with a bulldozer? Chargebacks. Pretty much. So if they want to get credited, you gotta prove that it's truly worthless in every possible way. Some people don't like it. They feel like it's, destruction of, some usable consumer good. But I don't know. If you saw the amount of food we throw out every day. Exactly like those Firebirds they crushed with the excavator. Yeah, did you see that AC/DC is making another go of it? And with Brian Johnson, too. So, It looks like the axle thing was really just temporary. And I think that's awesome. Go. Go, go, go. I think that's great. And Phil Rudd's back, despite his unpleasantness. Where was it? Australia? New Zealand? Might have been New Zealand. Yeah, right, Tony? Tony says he worked at a pizza place. It was insane, the amount of perfectly good pizza they threw away every day. A buddy of mine worked at McDonald's, and he was like, this is back before they have a just-in-time inventory now. They actually build to order, which actually saves them money. They would just, back in the 80s, he worked there in 85, somewhere, 84, 85. He's like, you just make the burger, and it sits in a bin for 10 minutes, and that's why there's markers in there to put the time on it. And once it reaches 10 minutes, boom, it literally goes in the trash. He goes, we threw out buckets of food every day. But it was built into it. Yeah, it was built into the business model. Yeah, Kiwi. It was the Kiwi. New Zealand. So, it's gonna be cool, and I'm assuming they'll tour for it. I would think, So no, it could be cool. There'll be no place they can play. Tough to put an album out when you can't go on a tour to support it. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. It was good news, so I think a lot of people were really excited to see that's going to happen. Feels like just a tiny bit of good news in an otherwise pretty crappy year. Phil was up on, what were the official charges? Was it murder for hire, right? He was going to hire someone to kill someone, but she said it was all a big misunderstanding. Hey, what's up, Tone King? What's up, Strat Tom? Oh, Guitar Man 45's here. Oh, Mike Buckingham, too. Look, everybody's here. And he was on meth? Well, that'll do it. Your Honor, it wasn't me. It was the meth who wanted to hire someone to kill them. Sure. After watching the teaser, it sounds like the last AC DC album and the one before that, and the one before that, and the one before that. Look, they have a formula, and it works. If they deviated from it too much, people would say, it doesn't sound like them. Oh, Mean Streak. No, that's Y&T? That Y&T? I don't think I know that. I think that's Thin Lizzy. By Gamma? I don't. That I don't know. Gamma. Yeah, you love the Kramer? Kramer's nice. Let's go to Kramer Cam. There you go. Nice. Right there. I do. Yeah, I remember Mean Streak. Yeah, Y&T. I saw Y&T with Dawkins and... Y&T with Dawkins and Twisted Sister. Y&T was the headliner. Dawkins was the opener, and Twisted Sister was the middle act. How's that? Saw AC/DC 77 opening for Aerosmith. Yeah, I saw Bon Jovi open for Rat. You could tell they were talented. Quiet Riot opened for Black Sabbath. Missed pretty much that whole set, except for the last note. Walked in. Boom, boom, good night. My God. Yeah. Was it Living Color open for the Stones? I saw Joe Satriani open for the Stones. And Lenny Kravitz opened for the Stones. Or no, Joe Satriani opened for Bowie. He was the opening act for David Bowie. Loudest show ever for me was P-Funk. George Clinton and the P-Funk All-Stars. It was obscenely loud. It was in a small venue. They just cranked it up so loud. I mean, it was painful. The other band that was like that was Motorhead. Motorhead was so loud, we just went outside, and in the parking lot, you could hear it perfectly. Just sat in the parking lot, listened to the whole show in there, and then got a head start on it once they said goodnight. We were already out there ready to go. Who else did I see? I've seen Keel. Raven. Remember Raven? The drummer's helmet exploded during his solo. Hendrix opened for the Monkees, yeah. Well, yeah, you saw Pearl Jam open for the Stones. Yeah, I think we didn't get Pearl Jam on that tour. I think we got Goo Goo Dolls. Thanks. Tesla boot off for Motley Crue. I've seen Motley Crue a bunch of times. God. All in the 80s. I've probably seen Motley Crue like 5 or 6 times. All between 1985, maybe even 84. 84 and the Shout at the Devil tour. And probably 87 or 88, and then it was over, and then I wasn't really going to shows as much. A lot of show you saw was Judas Priest. Manowar was the loudest. That reminds me of my band in the 80s, Mega Man of Wargasm. We were huge. DLR Skyscraper tour was way too loud. I saw the Skyscraper. I saw both tours. I saw the Eat 'em and Smile, and I saw the Skyscraper tour. I saw both of those. Were really good. I'm trying to say who else I saw was really loud. The best sounding show I ever went to, one of the best ones by far was Rush. I want to say in the late, probably the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. One was Roll the Bones, Big Money. Forget now. And they had the speakers all set up around the stadium, and I was right the first row on the loge, right behind the mixing board, up in the air. Beautiful seats, just unbelievably good seats. And that show was just, I just never forgot just how good they sounded. You sounded so good. Yeah, Rat was super loud, right, Aljon? Rat was super loud. But I remember Bon Jovi opening, and we were all sort of looking at each other saying, wow, these guys are really talented. You could tell the singing, right, the harmonies, and, Richie and the guitar playing. We were like, boy, this band has got some talent. if they could write a few more songs, they're going to go somewhere. And then Slippery When Wet came out, and boy, were we right. We're all patting ourselves on the back. Yes, quite right, yes. What's the best show I've been to? It's hard to say. I've been to some really good shows. I'll say a couple of shows that really shocked me and how good they were. One was the Black Crowes playing a small place, the Orpheum. And when I tell you they exploded onto the stage, they had this curtain up and they were in silhouette and they just started building and building and building and then boom. And I was like, wow. And they sounded fantastic. The guitar player, not the brother guitar player, the other guitar player had the flu. He was standing in one spot, pasty white and sweating profusely the whole night. I found out later that he had the flu. But that was an amazing show. They sounded so friggin' good. And then another show that just shocked me at how good the whole band was Billy Idol on the very first show of the 1986 tour. The band that was opening up had a big hit. What were they called? Oh my God, what the hell? Fire. Oh God. What the hell was that? You know. Right? Remember that band? You know that band. That Firewoman? Something like that. God, I can't remember the name of that band. The Cult, thank you. Thank you, The Cult. So my friend, we wanted to go see The Cult. So The Cult come on. They're utterly forgettable. And then we're like, let's stick around for Billy Idol because I heard Steve Stevens he's quite the hot shot on the guitar. He's a wicked hot shot. When that dude came out, he put on a friggin' show. I was like, oh my God. This dude, he's going, oh, I was like, oh my, we're all looking at each other. I'm like, look at this guy. Look at this guy. This is unbelievable. I mean, took a team of surgeons to wipe the fucking smile off our fucking faces, you know? I mean, we were like, just blown away. Like, holy shit. And so, yeah. And that was really the Steve Stevens show. It really was. Because he was as big a figure on stage, you know, as Billy Idol was. And, Billy Idol sounded good. Remember, this is 1986. This is kind of in the guy's heyday, you know. And yeah, no, they just sounded so freaking good in the quality. And again, it was the first show of the tour. So, you know, they're just fresh off rehearsal. They're all energized. They're ready to, like, get out there and rip. And, damn. We were like, huh. Okay, well. Carry on. Oh. Yeah. I'm trying to think of who else I saw that was pretty good. I saw Iron Maiden at the Cape Cod Coliseum, which is now a warehouse for Christmas tree stores. You know, that's how small that venue was. I think it was like a 5,000-seater, maxed out. And it was, most of the bleachers were empty. It was pretty much a floor show. There was probably 2,500, maybe 3,500 people there. And Fastway opened up. And that was a crazy show, crazy night. A real crazy night. Steve Stevens, one of my faves, and so underrated. I know. He really is. I think people now, I think he's starting to get a little bit more of his due. But at the time, it was because he was with Billy Idol. It really was just that. You know, a lot of people just saw Billy Idol as this, you know, sort of like punky pop dude. And you couldn't take the guy seriously, you know, versus Steve Stevens, who, when you stopped and listened to it, you're like, wow, that's actually pretty good. Huh. Yeah, in Yarmouth. Exactly. Down in Yarmouth. The Cape Cod Coliseum. I saw Kiss at the Springfield Civic Center, and they're in the middle of the first song, and they blow out a lot of the electricity. There's no, like, half the instruments go out. They're all sort of looking at each other. There's, like, lights on, but they're not emergency lights. But they've blown a couple of, like, pretty big circuits out there. So Paul's like, they're all looking at each other. And Paul he tries to talk in the mic, but there's no sound. So he walks up and he goes like, to everybody in the audience, 1 minute. And they all walk off stage. And I turn to my friend, I go, they won't be coming back. And they did, though. They did. They were off stage for a long time. People chanting Kiss. They were probably gone 20 minutes. And when they come back on stage, I'll never forget it because I was laughing so hard. Because I imagine in my head something completely different. But he basically came out and said, like, we were talking backstage, and they wanted to cut it all down and say, we got to go home. And I was like, no way. We got to put a show on. And I'm thinking to myself, what really happened is you guys wanted to go home. And they were like, you're going to have a goddamn riot on your hands. And you better get your ass out there and do what you can to keep this place from going nuts. And so I just was laughing. I'm like, And let me also guess, we're the greatest audience you've ever had. Go on. So they come back out and he's like, you know, not a lot of the lights are going to work, but we're going to get one important one. And they got the Kiss logo to light up, and it is pretty dark in there. They got a couple of stage lights on in that, and they put all the remaining power into the sound system, and they pulled off. I swear they did the rest of the friggin' show, and I don't think they ever played there again. Oh, I just remember just thinking to myself at the time, just laughing out loud when he's saying, you know, I was like, no way. I was like, oh, I am sure. I am sure. Oh. I'm just checking King of the Nighttime World. Yeah, I forget the Rainbow Scorpions tour. I don't think I saw that. I did see Scorpions on tour, but I forget who opened. It might have been Kingdom Come. How's that for a little Dumbledore plug right there? Steve, what is your favorite Kiss album? Oh, that's hard to say. You know, Destroyer or like Creatures. You know, I like the heavier ones. And of course, Alive 1 is so good. It's going to be a toss. I actually like Dynasty too, to some degree. But I'm going to go either like Alive, which isn't live anyway, right? Didn't they take like Super Bowl audio, right? Isn't that like, I don't even think that's Kiss, you know, that they're cheering for. And then, what was, yeah, and then either Destroyer or Creatures. Creatures was that one. The reason why we like Creatures so much is I had written Kiss off at that point, right? 1982, Unmasked, and then Elders. I was like, oh my God, they're flailing. They don't know what to do. I'm like, this band is over. And then Creatures came out, and I was like, oh my God, this is actually a pretty good album. Holy shit. What? You know? Yeah, and I think Creatures was that one that just came out of nowhere and just surprised all of us. That's I think why, and in fact, we were so embarrassed to say that we liked Kiss. I remember a buddy of mine in 1983, you know, I had my license that summer, and I remember the Kiss album came out, and we would drive around. I remember we getting in the car, and he was like, I got the new Kiss cassette. And I was like, no way. And we would drive around in my car and we would, quietly listen to Kiss and not tell anyone else, because it's like you couldn't admit to listening to Kiss in 1983. And then they did, Lick It Up came out and they took the makeup off and they had another big career boost after that. It was, they were smart to take the makeup off. I saw them on the Creatures tour with Vinnie Vincent. In fact, I've seen Eric Carr. I'm trying to think now. I want to say either 4 or 5 times with Kiss and Eric Singer once. See, when I think of Lick It Up, I think of 84 more than 83. And I saw Kiss in 83 in the winter. Someone could probably look it up. I want to say it was in the Worcester Centrum in January or February of 1983. And that was for the Creatures tour. And Ace was on all the posters, but it was Vinnie Vincent out on stage. And I kept saying to myself the whole night, I was so far away. I didn't have my glasses. I just remember saying to myself, like, damn. Like, he's not going to play a single one of his Les Pauls tonight? Jeez, like everyone else, he just went all Jackson, right? He was playing all Jackson, Randy Rhoads. But it was, what's his name? It was friggin' Vinnie Vincent. And I was like, yeah, exactly. Pop the cassette into not the Alpine, the Blaupunkt. Come on, bro. Pop the cassette into the Blaupunkt. Oh, God. What we used to friggin' concentrate on. Yeah, the Vinnie Vincent invasion. We used to have a kid who came into the music store, all right, who was just way into, like, almost like a childlike level of, love for Vinnie Vincent and Ace Frehley. And he comes in one time and he goes, yeah, we just saw Ace, and Ace was playing at, like, the Paradise, right? He's playing a club or the Channel. And after the show, they followed the van and the car, the bus, the touring bus, all the way back to New York. And I was like, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, and when we got there, his security got out and they were all mad at us. I go, oh, really? They were angry with you because you followed them from Boston to New York City, and this somehow upset them. He's like, yeah. I'm like, boy, you really are stupid. And yeah, the Craco. The Craco. God. Yeah, Kenwood. I had a Kenwood. I don't think did I have an Alpine? I don't think so. I had a Kenwood, though, and I definitely had a Blaupunkt. Right, isn't that some stalker level shit right there? Follows him from Boston to New York? Dude, what are you thinking? What did you think they were going to do? You think you're going to say, you think they were going to get out and say, we noticed you're like a super fan. Ace wanted to know if you wanted to come up for drinks. I mean, what did you think was going to happen? And he found out that Ace didn't want to meet them. And and that his security was really angry because he drove 400 miles or whatever, 350 miles from Boston back down to New York. Oh, my God. seen Cinderella? I don't think so. Uh-oh, check my text. Oh my God, my phone's all the way over there. Buddy. Watch it. Buddy. Go get my phone. Get my phone. You can do it, buddy. He's not a dog. Pioneer and Iowa. There you go. There's a name. Iowa. So Japanese. And a Kenwood. Use the force, exactly. I'm trying to use the farce. Come on, buddy. He's like, no, can't talk. Licking. So, chat, what Kramer should I reissue? Oh my God. You could do and I know you've done it, but I would do like that original. I think one of the groundbreaking series was the 82 series with the BK. So pretty much what your classic headstock is now. But you'd have to do it with the maple and like the green. That there's like a metallic green that's not as flaky as the one you did. One you did was too metal flake. It's more subtle than that, you know. There's the red and the green on that. And then of course, you know, you have the SM1, but there was one other than the SM1. I'm trying to think of what it was. The name's escaping me. Hold on. We'll go to Vintage Kramer. We'll take a quick look. Okay. So yeah, if you get to like, yeah, like the custom, what do they call? Yeah, like the Paul Dean signature. I'm sorry, not the Paul Dean signature. Scratch that. Like the Stagemaster Custom is a little different. What was the other one they had here that was a little different than what Kramer had been doing? No, not the Vanguard. What's the one I'm thinking of? It could have been late. It could have been late 87. Yeah. That's when right, the Artist Series. Well, you know what? You kind of have the Artist Series, though, right now. This does look like the Stagemaster Deluxe 1, the guitar I have right now. And then all the other ones are just variations on it, either double, single, double, or just a single pickup. I don't know if that's enough of a change. Oh, let me look here. What do I like? The Beretta one, although you've kind of done those recently. And in fact, it's the same color, that blue. To give it some thought. You have to come up with the Ripley. Oh, yeah, the Carrera, which was, all black, right? Black hardware, black everything. It was, there was none more black. Oh, the Condor. Forgot about that. Yeah. What I have to get is one of these with the passive pickups, just to complete the set. I got the active, which are great. But I think I need got to get the orange one, and then I'd have the creamsicle now, wouldn't I? I'm just saying. See you, little roadie guitar. Thanks for hanging out. Let me go to the single coil on that. I always wanted to do a cover of She. Hold on, I got it in single coil. Yes! You know what? I could have used this on that Sabbath cover. I was trying to find a guitar with a whammy bar tuned to E. And that's why I went with the EVH. But this is tuned to E. All my other ones are E flat. Oh, thanks, Big Dave. Much appreciated, man. It's a very fine line. Reissue a budget model under the Focus name? Maybe. You know, the classics are kind of already a budget model. I don't think they went for more than $400, right? I think the classic was $399 for, you know, the maple neck with the candy apple or the white body. And then there was a model up from there that was like double that, like $799 or $899, something like that. But Kenwood deck, Jensen speakers, Rockford Fosgate amp, nice. In the 90s, I had what's the big kicker? What was the tube? What was the big long sub bass tube? Was it Kicker? Oh, thanks, Rob. Was it Bazooka? What was the name of the ones? What was the big long tubes that were ported and they had a giant sub in it? Tone sounds like Vito Bratta. Nice. Oh, man, look at this. Boogie Woogie Creep. Thanks, buddy. Give us your thoughts on the new, and a few licks of the great Michael Schenker. You know, he's the one guy, you know, I don't really know a lot about. I was more Scorpions. But Michael Schenker, not so UFO, not so much. You know, I don't know why. Oh, John Banks, look at that. Here's a quarter price of a Starbucks coffee. Thank you. Thank you. I think it was Bazooka. I think it's Bazooka. Yeah. When I was in college and I was driving, I had this Mercedes Coupe, a 280C that I got for short money. I think I paid $3,000 for that thing. And it had a problem with it, but I found a guy who solved the problem. Like very good. It used to blow smoke like crazy. Everyone thought it was like a, you know, like a cracked block or something, but it turns out there was like a little, just this over-engineered sort of Mercedes things where they used like a fiber disc. And as soon as the guy looked at it, he says, "Oh, I bet the disc inside is cracked." He opened it up and there was a big hole in it. He goes, "Yeah, there's your problem right there." We replaced it, no problem. But then it would crack in cold weather. He was forever opening it up and replacing that little disc. It was like this weird little thing to help give it more. I couldn't believe it. So, yeah. Then I had the Kicker in it for a while. That car wound up getting totaled. There was a chick. She had a license about 2 weeks. And she just totally misjudged how much time she had to turn a corner. And she just drove like right into me. Boom. I was like, head on. I wrapped the steering wheel a little bit. I bent the steering wheel over. That's a bit of a hit. Do you want a bass? I have one bass. I have my Ibanez bass that I've had for, I guess about 10 years now, maybe. Yeah, that was I'm trying to think of the year. It was a 75 Mercedes 280C, a coupe. God, I miss that. Miss that car. That was a good car. I remember driving it, being in like college and saying, "I'll drive Mercedes for the rest of my life." Well, boy, I didn't realize how much that expensive that would be. It was like, if I can get this one for $3,000, no problem. But it was a problem. Oh, thanks, Mike Buckingham. Look at you guys. That's freaking awesome. Sad the USA made Mercedes are terrible because the Euro-made ones apparently run pretty much to the end of the time. Yeah, you know what? They might put governors on the ones here in the U.S. just because I don't think they run quite as fast as the European ones. Saw Schenker at the Whiskey in 2018. Nice. Yeah, I don't, that's one band that just never, I just don't really, and I had friends that were so into him and UFO, and I don't know. What's the quintessential album? So I could know what to look up. If you were saying, if you want to listen, like, if someone said Steel Panther, I would say Feel the Steel. That's sort of like their quintessential album. I think maybe for, the Ronnie James Dio years, like Heaven and Hell. Only 2 albums now that I think of it. I don't know any LA Guns. They came a little late. They were late 80s, and by then I had sort of really figured out. By 88, I'm way into like 87, 88, I'm big time into like Mike Stern and sort of figuring out John Scofield a little bit. I was in a fusion band at the time. UFO Live. You got the guitar, that one. Oh, thanks, Joe Brady. Lights Out 1977, MSG, first 2 albums. I'm seeing a few on here. We got to do that on the That Metal Show. Yeah, really. God. But I'm the early years. I'm like 78 to 88, or like 86, 87. Somewhere around there. Yeah, Stern. You know what? When Time and Place came out, that was like a real eye-opener for me. It started with the first Chick Corea Electric album. And that sort of got me going on the whole fusion thing. And then I picked up Upside Downside, which was just okay. But Time and Place is his friggin' masterpiece. That really is his masterpiece, is Time and Place. And then I saw Mike live, God, many times. Many times. He was given private lessons recently. I think it was like $100 for 50 minutes. Or $120, something like that. Yeah, Mike Stern. Freaking amazing. I don't know any Man of War, unfortunately. That was, Yeah, Man of War loincloths. Yeah, I think I remember the loincloths now that you mention it. Now, Randy, I know. That guy I've heard of. Yeah, Chromosome, right? And, It's like, it's like so many notes. It's so chromatic, you know. It's like, it's hard. That song's hard. It hurts my brain. Right, buddy? Buddy says, yeah. You doing all right there, bud? All right. That's my buddy cat. I'm screwing it up. I feel like it's a little lower. That sounds right to me. What you get and what you see. So, before I forget, I did want to mention, now that I'm thinking about it, I did want to mention the, let me find a nice clean. Bring that up a little bit. Maybe a hair more. I just wanted to mention Helen Reddy. She was, the only thing I can say about Helen Reddy is that when I was a kid, real little, 6 or 7 years old, she had a big hit on the radio. A song that was, I forget the guy, Alex something, I forget the guy who wrote it, but he had, had, I think, Bette Midler, Tanya Tucker, and Helen Reddy. It's the age of when you'd have a songwriter and they would write songs, and like Anne Murray, right, and they'd sing all these other people's songs, but they don't really write a lot of songs themselves. And so Helen Reddy was of that, like, she was a singer-vocalist, and, I just remember her version of Delta Dawn just being like, just a huge part of my youth. I remember, like, my sister and myself, like, being, like, so into it, and we would sing it to our parents. We loved it so much, And it's so poetic if you listen to the first verse, or like they open with the chorus, right? The lyrics are so poetic for her passing. Yeah, and Mac Davis too, When I think of her, I just think of, Delta Dawn, what's that flower you've got on? Could it be a faded rose from days gone by? And did I hear you say he was meeting you here today to take you to his mansion in the sky? I mean, what a perfect, just perfect, you know. So it hurt when I heard of her passing. It was a huge part of my youth. That song was like #1 on the radio. I just remember being down the beach and listening to that song. And again, there was just something about it. And it was a more up-tempo than what I just played there, which is probably more like the original, kind of a country version. You know, hers was more like upbeat and whatever, but I just, I don't know. You just, it's just weird how some songs hit you in life. And that was one of them. All right. I don't want to start crying here. I was in tears when Gary Moore died. Yeah. I was pretty bummed out, and we could actually talk about it. Today's his birthday, when Stevie Ray Vaughan died. So, yeah, and Stevie, God, we lost him way too young. All right. I'm going to switch out of this clean tone. What do we have over here I can use? Let me see. There was one I was playing recently. I think you might like. It was very mid-range pushed. I gotta say, I kind of liked it. Now I can't find it. Oh. I think they were. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's definitely not it. Yeah. That's really. Oh, my God. No, none of those. Better. A little bright. What am I thinking of? Was it this one? No. That's actually not bad. That could work. Yeah, no, not so much. Not bad, but all right, let's go. Let's not get lost down a patch hole here. I'm going to go back to my standard dual heavy rig. Feel like I gotta... There we go. Although, is that a little loud now? Check, check. Oh, that seems about right. I'm just looking at my meter here. All right. I'm going back. Where are you? There you are. I'm not playing the GT1000. I'm playing THU. Did you guys hear the news? Guitar Rig 6 came out. I'm going to try and get a copy this week. If I don't get a copy, I haven't heard from Native Instruments. I see a bunch of my friends getting it, but they haven't reached out to me. I'll pull the demo down, and I'll make a video, and I'll just use the demo. I checked the demo. It will run for 30 minutes without a problem, and then it shuts down for like a little while, and then it will run for another 30 minutes after so long. So I'll just pull the demo down, and I'll do a video, and I'll try and cram it in 30 minutes, my footage, and we'll just go through and check it out. But I think the upgrade's $99. I might do it. We'll see. Some Maiden. It's probably here. It's hard to do it on a Floyd because it's pulling the other note forward. So you can hear it go down. See you, Aljon. Thanks so much for hanging out. Can you guys still hear me? I feel like my volume's a little low here, but thanks for hanging out, man. I'll check your text. We should talk real soon, buddy. Absolutely. Like this week, maybe. Just saying. I'm around. Who do you think you most play like? Most people, when people tell me I sound more like Van Halen. Though when I was playing with Nick Johnston, he said he thought I sounded a little bit more like Satriani. Because I do a lot of bends, and I think at that particular time I was doing a lot of whammy stuff. He goes, you sound a little like Satriani. I was like, oh, I'll take it. Upstroke harmonics. Put your hand on my picking hand. Sloppy as shit. All right, back here, and we're back, and we're back. Enough for you there, Quentin? Don't make me come over there. Guitarologist, what's up, buddy? And is this for my speaker? God. That will go down in infamy. I can't even read that name without laughing out loud. Is that for my speaker? That should be required. Do you know what, dude? We should recreate that. We have to do a little vignette where we recreate the, is that for my speaker guy? Oh my God. That's working in a music store, man. Right there. Right friggin' there. The original stage masters were killer guitars. They were. Absolutely. And they had some pretty intricate inlays, too. Not exactly quite like this. Some of the custom ones and like custom twos the year before. Before they had the large, they did this because of Jackson. Quite frankly, I kind of liked it with the smaller, I like the 3D logo, but I actually like the smaller one rather than the larger one, you know. This was just a response to Jackson because they felt like the name wasn't being seen enough, but I don't know. Charvel did the same thing, right? They had the nice small Charvel logo and they blew it up with the big toothpaste logo. Can you use the Strat on a live show again? I can. It might have a broken string. I need to find a string company to support me. I need to get on the sweet, sweet string supply chain because I have too many guitars and I can't afford to string all these. I need like the Dario or Ernie Ball or somebody. I was with Clairtone, but they seem to be in free fall right now. I don't have a contact over there anymore, and they aren't returning my texts. So, can you fake high-speed downstroke chugging with alternate picking? Yeah, you gotta mute it. I mean, it's never going to be exactly. not quite the same. Something like that. I got a pick company. I got my pick guy that sends me picks. Right there. Picks I got. I'm good on picks. Strings though. Somebody, for Christ's sakes. Give me a break. I got like 40 guitars here. I'm gonna need one of you to send me over a few boxes, if you could. You know what? If I had to pick a brand, just like right off the top of my head, I'd probably say D'Addario. I used them for the longest time just because they were one of the more inexpensive brands, but I got to really love the D'Addario. I used to call it D'Addario, but they told me that's not how it's pronounced anymore. Now it's like D'Addario. And they want, I don't know what they want. They probably someone with more subscribers than me, but the other one would be Ernie Ball. I don't mind. I like Ernie Ball. I think I like D'Addario a little better, though. I like the Hex Core. Claritones were good. They lasted a long time, but they're very expensive strings, and I think they didn't want to send them out anymore. So who knows? Pixie, you going to get the Jack Butler guitar? No way. That's an expensive guitar, dude. Guitar's like, over $2,000, over $3,000. What do you think of the Charvel 275? I don't know a lot about the 90s Charvels. By the time you got to 1990, Charvel was a very different company. Same with Kramer. Kramer, it got thrown all the way around Music Yo. All these, they didn't know what to do with those brands because they couldn't sell the guitars in the 90s. No one wanted them. Just like you had trouble selling a Les Paul in the 80s. The fashion had turned in a major way thanks to Nirvana. And having a pointy headstock was the kiss of death. And so Charvel and Kramer really had a tough go in the 90s. And I didn't really play a lot of them. We weren't a Charvel dealer. That was the store down the street. We didn't carry Charvel. We didn't carry Peavey. We carried Fender. We didn't carry Marshall. We carried Fender. We carried Crate. And we carried, trying to think of what other amp brand did we carry? Laney. We sold a lot of Laneys. I don't think anything beyond Laney. I think that was it. That was probably our three major brands. I like Slinky. I could live with Slinky. Make good stuff. But I still think if I had to say what's the most strings I've used in my life, it's probably the D'Addario XL. Is it XL 120 is the 10, and the 110 is the 9s? I forget now. One of those. Brent says, loved your LP custom unboxing. Went out and bought one. Yeah. Funny how that works. Yeah, so did Bobby. Bobby went out and bought, what color did you get? He got the ebony. He didn't go with the white. He went with the ebony. I was like, all right, go ahead. See if I care. Actually, I should get it over here, right? We'll do a little, see which color sounds better. I'm going to say, I'm betting on my horse. It's crazy. Dario, strings don't break. Oh, they'll break. You know what happens to them is they wear out. I can start after a few weeks of playing. As I go up and down the frets, I can feel the fret spots on the frets because I dent them where they meet the fret. And after a little bit of playing, if I go long enough, I'll break the winding at the fret, and then I'm really in trouble. So. Dunking says, I've used more GHS boomers than anything else. You know, I remember using GHS boomers back in I want to say the late 80s, early 90s. Yeah. Black diamond made from authentic barbed wire. I had some, I want to say, black diamond strings. I thought they were called Black Diamond. I forget that. They were trying to revive the brand, and they sent me a couple of packs of strings, and then they sold it. Like here today, gone later today. Yeah, everyone started playing Fender Jags. I know. I told you I want to do a Jag video where I do nothing but like Def Leppard songs and like tapping. make every person who's even remotely interested in a Jag crazy. Like I saw, just like chirp every single note, going, yeah, this Jag sounds great. They'd be like, you don't even know. How could you even know? Any recommendations for solderless volume and tone controls? No, I've never used solderless. I'm an old school solder guy. What do I use for a soldering iron? I think I have a Hakko, a Japanese made, Hakko. Pretty good soldering iron, actually. The other one would be Weller. Just don't get too hot. I wouldn't go more than a 40 watt. Really, you could even get away with a 25 watt on most circuits and an electric guitar cavity. But solderless? Never did it. Dean Markley, Blue Steel. Remember those? Those were the cryogenics. Remember those? Remember cryogenics? And was it the late 80s, right? You could get the razor blades. Everybody was cryogenically doing crap. That's where Ted Williams is now, right? Just his head, though. I don't know. God. Poor Ted. What's up, Ricky? I have a lot of people that like elixirs. I remember I did a video on I really like these clear tones, and boy, the elixir fanboys came out. They're like, if you like those, then you'll love elixirs. It's like, no, I don't like coated strings. Oh, but you can't feel it. It's not. I'm like, I don't like elixirs. And they're like, shut up! Like, Christ, can I like what I like? They're like, no, elixirs are the best. I'm like, Jesus, give me a break. Yeah, no, they got some fanboys, the elixirs, man, big time. And Timothy Leary, too, Jesus. And Walt Disney, too, Jesus. The problem is that when you're frozen to that, I believe, to that level of freezing, the crystals that form in the frozen, you'd be better off to be refrigerated than frozen, because the crystals, from as I understand it, just absolutely rip through and destroy, just like the first frost does for plants outside. the frozen crystals rip through and absolutely destroy organic matter. Well, when they say you might be revived in the future, it could be 1,000,000 years in the future before they figure that shit out. Yeah, exactly, Gitologist. It destroys cell walls, right? If exactly, but just like it does in the first frost outside, just rips through everything. The Dario strings last week quite a bit more than any other string brand I've tried. Yeah, I've had good luck with them. I will say, and I will say, the clear tones lasted, and they would stay nice and bright for a very long period of time. They were a long-lasting string, but those strings are like $15 a pack. Now, they gave me a couple of boxes, but I'm getting towards the end of the boxes, and there's no way I'd go out and buy them because, I can get literally 3 sets of Diodario, and then you say, like, well, can one set last longer than 3 sets of Diodario? You're assuming $5 a set for the Diodario, $15 a set for the clear tone. I think I will physically wear out the clear tone where I'll feel divots where I hit the strings, right? I'll feel marks where I hit the strings. So I think physically I'll wear them out before I chemically wear them out with oxidation. So I'd still rather go with the Diodario and put, rather than one set of strings on every 90 days, 3 sets on over 90 days, one every 30 days. I think the guitar would feel nicer. I'm going to be honest, I am super mega cheap when it comes to replacing strings. I only do I'm going to change strings on a guitar when I finally break one string on it and be like, okay, now I'll do it. I get some guitars, those strings are friggin' 6 years old. Longer. I got a guitar over there from 1973 with the original set of strings on it. It's only got 3 strings left, and I'm probably not going to restring it. But those strings are literally coming up on 50 years. But the spirit, the soul never dies. No. It dissipates into air like a fart. Sorry. You just farted out. Oh, what is that? Baby, when I think about you. Yeah, it vanishes like a fart in the wind. Exactly. Break like the wind. Exactly. The only guitars I hate with dead strings are single coils. Yeah, you know what? I do. It does get to the point. I mean, I have had some guitars with some pretty black strings. So black, light can't escape its surface. And, it's regrettable when they get that bad, but I'm just so cheap. I can't do it. It's like, as long as the string is there, I'm still going to use it. But I will change it. What will happen is, and this isn't there, that's why I'm using this guitar. It's like, even on my Strat right here, I can feel it. I can feel the, how about the EVH? Yeah, a little bit. Definitely on the Strat, though. These strings are so old. You can totally feel it. I love my new little orange Ant Man. I see one back there. Yeah. I got that one at, I got that one from Orange. There's the guy. Forever best, Cliff. That's the founder of the company. And it smells a little like the beer. Remember we poured beer on it? We might have rinsed it with water. Not too beery. Yeah. Almost like a little yeast and hops. What neck profile do you prefer? I just don't like it too wide or too deep. I think when they're too wide, even if it's shallow, I can't get my thumb around. I don't care for it. And even if it's narrow, if it's really deep and it doesn't break away from the edge, more like the U shape, I don't care for it. So I like the C shape. I like the D shape. Of course, the F shape, the Z shape. That's what, the stick right there? No way, that's a cat toy. Pick that up. We might get cats a playing. That's a cat toy right there. Don't boil strings. Clean them with a toothbrush and Arm & Hammer. Fuck that. I'll clip them off and throw a new set of strings on. That's more. Listen, if it's more than $5 worth of work, then I'm just gonna replace them. Because all the cleaning in the world still won't get rid of the divots. I should do a video on that where I do some close-ups and show the divots on the strings that happen over time. They divot a little bit. Just a little bit. I know you've been over this, but can you talk about your tone and what you are using tonight? Well, tonight, we're using THU. That's my standard sound called dual heavy ring. Sometimes I'll use a modern clean. Here we go. You know. I feel like I'm missing a step. There it is. The resolve. And then sometimes we like to mix it up, which is what we do. You know, we just like to have fun. So there's a, straight up clean. Same thing, but with the chorus. It's literally the same patch, but they just add a chorus to it. Sometimes I do the buttery lead. Something like that. And then a lot of times I'll use this behave lead. That's based on a Marshall. You can hear it's much more mid-range. Well, I think I'm overdriving my output here just a hair. Hold on. One click. The great great thing about THU is it's how responsive the amps are. We like to have fun. That's what we do. Just having a little fun. All right, there we go. Saigon Kick, oh my God, dude. Now there's a band who I haven't heard in a while. Saigon Kick, holy shit. Dumbledore and that shit right out of there, Jesus. What year is this, Kramer? I think it's a, I'm going to say it's a 2014. 2014 is the correct answer. There you go. So the little switch here, that's a coil cut for the bridge. And then this, oh, it was already out. That's adds this pickup to whatever's on. So when this is up and you're like in this position and you have the coil cut on, you have 3 single coils. And with the coil cut off, you'd have a humbucker and 2 singles all on the same time. And here it would be these 2, and you could make it a single and a single. So it's got, you know, you've got options. All right, there we go. Love it the way I can see it in your eye. Oh my God. Trickster, there's another one. God. See, here's the thing, and it happens with every single genre, is that some bands come out and they're talented and they have a new sound and they break mold, you know, and they right? A band like Quiet Riot, you know, that had catchy songs and, you know, came out in 83. And then everybody wanted those hair metal bands. And my God, they signed everybody. By the time you got to the late 80s, pretty much if you had a poodle haircut, you were signed. And, but then what happened was it changed. Nirvana got big. And then it was the complete kiss of death for any band like that, completely just dead. And yeah, it just goes to show it's really so fashion oriented, quite frankly. It's got some of the concerts remind me of Yamaha. Well, you remember those Yamahas? It was a long time ago. They're still here, man. They're over in the corner. God, I know. You got 2 Yamahas here, man. I feel like that's a little low. Like it's got to go up a hair. Where could I? Oh, yeah, right there. Let me just save that while I have it in the ed. Let me bring this off. And now I'm back here. Beavis and Butthead. Poor Winger. Well, they wanted to use it, and Winger said no. And that was the end of that. They're like, well, okay. I never saw GNR as being that far removed from hair metal. Oh, no. They were... come on. Take a look at that first album. Look how Axl looked. Please. What happened was, in 85, everything is glam. Glam, 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 glam. All you have to do is look at how Motley Crue dressed in 85, right? You just see it right there, for the Theater of Pain album. Completely glammed up, right? Twisted Sister, all that. By the time the next album for Motley Crue comes out, they've way, way, way toned down the glam. They all did. Once it got past really 86, by the time you get to 87, everybody's toned it way down. Big time. Loudness. Did they play Live Aid? Did Loudness play Live Aid? Yeah. For me, it was the US Festival, right? And they had Metal Day. You couldn't believe what you were seeing. And Van Halen were going to play live, which is something that was just talked about, but there was no YouTube back. Back then live Van Halen was just, you would get bootleg cassettes that would go around, but for the most part, there wasn't a ton of live stuff out there for Van Halen. I tell you, one of my biggest regrets was about 10 years ago. I was on a Usenet, I guess channel. What do they call them? I was on Usenet, and I was a group, Usenet group, and it was all about bootlegs. And a guy had posted every single bootleg from straight off the board from Jimi Hendrix's final year touring. And the only one I pulled down was the Boston one, for the one from the Boston Garden. But every single other one was up there. And they were recording a live album. They were going to put it out in the fall. And so they were recording every show. And some guy got his hand on those recordings. They're just stereo recordings, from the board. A couple of mics at the mixing board. And, but man, it sounds so good. And I just so regretted, I probably just didn't have the bandwidth at the time, but I just completely regret not pulling down every single one of those and having every single, it was show after show after show, and I only pulled down the Boston show. Summer of 1970, and he dies in September of 1970. I think the show I have is from June. The Boston show. You can hear people in the background going, Billy, the wicked Boston accent. Billy, come here. I was like, oh my God. You were able to share that? I might be able to. I'll dig it out. I'll throw it up. Sure. Yeah, Out of the Cellar was 84. 86 was Slippery When Wet. But even though it was 86, that album really didn't take off until 87. Right? That's when that album really, 86, it sort of got out there and they might have had one song out. But 87 was when it went a little cuckoo. Van Halen was the first band that smiled. I swear I got a friend who does that. Every time he plays, he puts on a huge smile because he's a fan of Van Halen, and Van Halen, look like you're having a good time. I have a bootleg AC DC album from the 1970s. There was a lot, there was a whole bootleg industry when I was a kid. Now it's, with the advent of the internet, it's not nearly as lucrative as it used to be. But there was a massive industry. I remember going to Berkeley and there would be a guy selling bootlegs, literally on the friggin' sidewalk, cassettes. And I bought an amazing Police bootleg of them playing the Orpheum Theater in Boston. Turns out he just stole it off the radio, which is why it sounded so good. It was a WBCN broadcast, and he just cut out all the, the bumpers. And it's really good quality. They wound up putting that out as a CD. Yeah, Girls. That was right. That's when they start to, really change their look. Judas Priest. Boy, all those outfits made sense later on, right? You're like, he's so amazing. Look at that. And later on, you look back, you go right. Of course. It all makes sense. YouTube monopolized bootlegging. Yeah, the Police bootleg. So I want to say it was, the show was, so I want to say their first album was 77. Was it 78? And then it was on the support of, I think, the second album. They had 2 albums out at the time they played the show. I can't believe it's 8:54, man. Tonight flew by. Though I hear someone upstairs trying to walk around. Appetite for Destruction, one of the top 10 best rock albums ever. I think some would agree. I don't know if I'd put it in my top 10. In fact, I don't think it's in my top 10. But you got to remember, when they came out, I was 21. If you want to, the audience for that is 2 years younger than me and 12 years younger than me. Huge. Those are the years, for Guns N' Roses. We used to laugh at the dude for using a friggin' Les Paul. We're like, look at this retro guy with this Les Paul. Isn't he adorbs? Yeah, Neely Brosh. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Boogie Woogie Creep. A few bucks to get started on the Strat. Yeah. I probably have a set I can throw on it. Yeah, I'll break out the Strat. That's a good one. It's heavy, though. It's like a 10-pound guitar. It weighs as much as the friggin' this Les Paul. But it's a Strat. Axl's not aged well. None of us do, though. Except Tom Brady. He looks remarkably the same. Yeah, no, he's going to stay right there, right, buddy? Oh, bud, man. Yeah, he's out. He's like, wake me when the food's up. Do your next live stream on your top 10 rock albums. I actually have a video out from I gotta say it's 5 years ago. It's an oldie. But I did one. I did one on my top 10. And I think I called it my most influential for guitar, because it's hard to choose top 10 albums. And what's so funny is it wasn't any particular order, but because I had put Pink Floyd above Hendrix, people were freaking out in the comments. And I was like, calm down over there. For Christ's sakes, it's in no particular order. You're all winners, okay? Christ. How many Stratocasters do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. 7? 7. Yeah, I can't. The Strat, the Green Strat, the Blue Strat, the Rosewood Neck Strat, the Strat Select, and the 70s Strat. Oh, right, and then the Attic. And then I got my 54 reissue, and then the Attic, one more, 8. In the Attic, I have a 60s Player Strat. 8. I forget it now. No, it's up. I think it's 8. Let's say 7. No, I think it's 8. 8. How many Ibanez guitars? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Seven. I think I got the same for Ibanez. I think it's 7. No, because I got the Les Paul. The 70, right, the old Les Paul. So that would be 8. That's all of them, I think. Is it 10? Well, guys, it is... All right, dudes. Thanks, everyone, so much for hanging out. Super extra thanks to anyone who contributed tonight. Really appreciate it. Always super awesome thanks to my mod squad. Keeping the hoi polloi in line. Cracking skulls. Appreciate it. And there you go. I'll see you back in a week. I got a couple of videos coming out this week. I'm hoping. I'm trying to do more produced stuff, and people seem to like it. There you go. So, Steve, where are your THU patches found? In the description below. Yeah, right there. And, and I'll see you guys all in a week. And we'll do it all over again. No, you rock. And yeah, there you go. Something like that. All right, dudes, I'm off. You guys have a great weekend and a great week. And until next week, rock on.